So would you take the word, Rose, to kickstart?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. To set the tone for our discussion, I think I would like to begin by quoting the key statements from today's session outline that says that 87% of learning and development programs fail to deliver meaningful results. Well, I think in my experience, Kate, the learning fails when learning goal does not match the real need. What do I mean by that? Is that sometimes as L&D professionals, we encounter these challenges where we're being forced to build training mid-project and no analysis, right? So we say, hey, you know what, this is the learning need, you go ahead, no analysis required. I feel this is where learning goal overshadowed actual needs, so that's one of the biggest challenge. The second one that I would like to call it out is that, there's so much of focus on quantity over quality, right? So when there is where quantity was prioritized over impact, and then the learning goals focus on delivering more modules, more hours, more training hours, but we fail to understand or ignore that, do the learners apply this? We fail to ask this question, right? Another thing that I felt that, in my experience, is the misalignment, where the problem statement isn't all about training issues. Sometimes we get those requests. We say, hey, you know what? People think that L&D can solve every issues, but it's not the case, right? We need to be able to understand as L&D professionals, do a lot of discussions or need analysis to be able to align that. Is this an L&D requirement? Is this the training need? Can we support or can we not support? I think we need to be honest with that so that we are able to align it with the real need. And last but not the least, I feel the learning content. I think we have evolved, quite a lot in the L&D space, and the landscape of work has changed drastically over, a couple of years, right? There's AI is here to stay, and so many things that's happening, in just about 2 to 3 years ago. And I feel that if we are just using old content, same content, or the methods are the same, then it's not relevant for the learners, right? So what is the work around that? I think the work around that is that we need to start at a problem, not at a solution. And that's when, training will become better, where we will be able to expect more results and it align with the needs. We need to be able to ask questions, why is this training? Who is struggling? Who am I supposed to support to? Or what is the change needed? What is the learning outcome? I think asking these relevant questions will definitely help, aligning it with the problem statement. Define clear objectives.
Thank you, Rose. You touched upon a lot of very valid points. Because, yeah, I do believe that a lot of L&D programs fail not because of lack of effort, but because they're often misaligned with the need, with the real business need, with the human need. So for sure, yeah. But you also made me think of another point, because you talked about that beginning, like how important it is to do a proper learning needs analysis before we do anything. I would also like to talk briefly about the time after the session, after that learning program, because learning is a process, or should be a process, not a one-time event. And for that reason, it's really important to also follow up and reinforce, especially after that session, because it's just so easy to forget, Just think of the last time you completed a course, any course, right? Today, how much of that knowledge do you still remember? Or how, are you still applying that skill today? So to build really lasting behavioral change, I think we should really look at that learning as a journey, not an event. Because, if you don't do it, it can fade so quickly, it doesn't stick, life gets in the way, and teams move on, managers move on, and then it just becomes a tick box exercise. So people really need time to internalize those ideas, that new learning. They need opportunities to apply. And they also need feedback, after that course. Maybe they need encouragement, they need correction. So the feedback loop is also very important.
I just want to give you some very terrible figures right here to this thing here, because this is a big part of why most of these training courses fail. Forgetting curve. Learners forget up to 70% of new information within 24 hours. And 90% forget within a week unless reinforced.
Important, but maybe also just to share a few tips, or maybe some just simple things that we could all do to help to make that learning stick, you know. So for example, spaced repetition. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but we often forget about it. So what you do, you just break learning into smaller parts, and then you revisit the key points over time. And you could do this through mini refreshers or some short quizzes or nudges or some reminders, you know. You could also involve the line managers. I think Rose also mentioned how important the management support is in transfer of learning, but also in embedding that new knowledge, that new skill.